What's up YouTube, it's TF Collector, and today I'll be reviewing the Transformers Studio Series number 21 Voyager class STARSCREAM from Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. So to begin, let's go ahead and take a look at STARSCREAM's packaging right up front. Nice picture of STARSCREAM there. He is number 21 of the Studio Series. STARSCREAM, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. 8-up Hasbro Transformers down the side, Generations and Takara. There on this side you have a nice profile image of STARSCREAM. He is Studio Series 21, Voyager class in many languages. On the other side, you have a zoomed out image of STARSCREAM with the Autobot logo and authentic there. On the back of the packaging, he is big screen inspired from Transformers Revenge of the Fallen's name is STARSCREAM. He's from the Forest Fight. You have some nice product images there. Transforms in 26 steps, licensed Lockheed Martin product, and STARSCREAM weaves through the trees in pursuit of Sam Witwicky and the Cybertronian secrets locked inside his mind. Backdrop included. We'll take a look at that later. Some other figures that you can purchase. We have reviewed both of those here on the channel. Check those out if you want. It is a Hasbro product. On the bottom you have a barcode. On the top, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. And before we take a look at STARSCREAM himself, he does include his instruction manual. He is number 21 on Studio Series. STARSCREAM, nice picture of him there. Revenge of the Fallen, Transformers 8-up Generations on the back. Lockheed Martin, Takara, and Hasbro. And with all that being said, here is STARSCREAM in his alt mode. He is the F-22 Raptor, Lockheed Martin product. And let's go ahead and take a closer look at him. You can see they used this black for the tattoos and for the nose cone. You can just see how all of that looks. Some Cybertronian glyphs, a Decepticon logo there. Looks pretty cool. Yellow for the cockpit. This whole piece done in black along with that hinge and these pieces back here. Even these little fins that flip up have some nice tattoo detailing. So you can see how all that tattooing looked and turned out on the bottom. You can kind of see how he's going to work out. You can see his arms and his legs, but it doesn't look bad from side view. It doesn't look bad. And overall, I think this is a pretty good looking jet mode here for Screamer. And as far as the landing wheels go, they do not roll, but you can flip them up if you want to. Flip all 3 landing gears up and you can have STARSCREAM flying into battle. And STARSCREAM only includes one accessory. He comes with this little axe blade of deathness, and you can see it's done in that same color yellow as the cockpit there, but looks pretty nice. A nice little gold detailing there. Just done in this dark gray plastic, and this can store here in alt mode. You see these 2 slots here. We'll just go into these 2 tabs on the back, so you can just tab that right in, and that is how that stores, which is pretty nice storage. You can't see it on the alt mode, so I do appreciate that. And just for a few comparisons here with STARSCREAM, here he is with Studio Series number 6 STARSCREAM. These are the exact same figure, just redecoed. So I'll hold them up here so you can see what all they changed coloration wise with the new guy. You can see he's done in more of a white plastic, as this was more of a light gray, and you do have the tattoos, of course, so you can see everything that they changed there with the original version of this mold. And here he is with Studio Series 13 Megatron, so you can see how Megatron and STARSCREAM from Revenge of the Fallen scale together there, and I think that they look pretty good together. And that's about all I have to say about STARSCREAM's jet mode here. He is the exact same figure as the original version of this mold that came out earlier in the Studio Series line, but I do prefer the glyphs and the Cybertronian glyphs done here on this version. So personally, I prefer this jet mode over the original version, but the transformation is the exact same, but we're going to go ahead and do it anyways. So to get to transformation, of course, we want to come back here and just remove the weapon, and we can start by pushing up all the landing gears. So just get those up and out of the way. I'm going to move the camera up a little so you can see a little more of what I'm doing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these pieces out and shift them up. So just untab this piece and shift it up. You can see that tab just goes right in there. Do the same thing on the other side. Untab that and shift it up like so. Just get those shifted up and out of the way. And now what you can do is come back here, and this piece gave me trouble on the first review I did for the original version. Let's hope it doesn't here, but you want to untab these pieces And come on now. Come on now. Untab. You see, I don't know why it does this when the camera's on. You can see I got this side undone here. This tab just goes into this leg. Let me do this side off camera. I don't want to struggle for 20 seconds. And that was an absolute pain in the butt, but I was able to get it done. So once you get those done, you can see it's on the double hinge here. Just swing it up if they haven't done it already. Just push those fins down and out of the way, and we can work on Starscream's legs. So just untab them from the side here. You see a slot and a tab there. Just swing those down and out of the way. Untab them from one another. They do tab in together right there, and just hinge them outwards and give him his chicken leg look. So just bring that back, bring that down, and flip his toe up like so. Same thing on the other side. Bring that back, bring it down, bring his toe up like so. And now we can move up to the upper body. So just come here, untab this piece, bring it around like so. Bring this piece down just to get it out of the way. These arms are going to untab from back in there. You see a tab slot connection here, and also the hand there tabbed into that tab right there. So just get all that undone and straighten that out. Straighten this side out and get these pieces down and out of the way so that you can rotate the arms up. Just get those nice and rotated around. And now what we can do is we can come here and just swing this whole section down, and it will go right into this gap here. So just swing that down, close that piece up, bring the head up the rest of the way, and just bring that piece back against the head. Now what we can do is come here to the arms and swing them up out of the way. So just swing both arms up and out of the way so we have a little room to operate here. What we're going to do is we're going to swing this piece down and swing this piece out. And you see that tab there will go into a slot right there. So you're just going to bring these pieces up and tab that in. Do the same thing on the other side. Tab that. Swing this piece around, bring it up, tab it in, tab. There we go. So you can see that's how you want that looking. It does fill in that chest section pretty nicely. And then these two tabs here will go into these two slots here. You're just going to play around with your hinges and just tab that in on each side. Like so. Make sure the legs stay straightened out. And the last thing to do is finish up the arms. Just bring the arms down, bring the hands out and hinge them down and rotate them forward so that they are facing properly. Do the same thing here on this side. Bring this down, bring that forward. And with that being said, after only one real annoying step in the transformation, the rest is pretty enjoyable. Here you have Studio Series 21 Starscream in his robot mode. And just like I was with the original version of this figure, Studio Series number 6, I am very happy with the way that this robot mode turned out here for Starscream. But with that being said, let's take a look at the details of the figure. You can see the head sculpt done very nicely there in the white plastic, but you do have the Decepticon logo up there. If we can focus, let me zoom in a little here. It's going to throw us off. There we go. You can see the Decepticon logo there, the black on the face, the red on the eyes, some gold, very nice looking. The black now on the chest with the tattoos. You can see the cockpit there, even some detailing there on the crotch. Nice little Cybertronian glyph there on the leg. Some more of the tattoos, some gold down on the leg. I do like the darker plastic they used here. Some gold in on the chest and on the shoulders. Overall, I think this figure is actually one of the better painted Studio Series figures. Despite all this white plastic, all this little detailing that they painted, you don't get that very much on Studio Series. But you have some nice gold there. Some nice details all throughout, molded in. Unfortunately, of course, not all painted, but they do look pretty good. Backpack-wise, wow, English. You can see there really isn't one, so it looks very nice. I am very happy with the way this figure turned out, and I think detail-wise, they did a really good job with this guy. Now, as far as articulation goes, it's the exact same as the original version. Due to transformation, he can look up a little bit. He can sort of look down if you want to count that head. Can rotate full 360. I don't think it's on a ball joint, but it does rotate. Arms can do full 360. They can move in and out. They can also hinge downward on this hinge if you want them to. You do get bicep rotation. You do get double jointed elbows, so you get a joint there and a joint there. So very nice bend there at the elbow. To transformation, you do have the wrist on a bit of a joint there. The hands are on ball joints, so they can swivel all around. Nothing at the waist, unfortunately. Some of these earlier Studio Series figures did not have that waist movement, but the legs can go forward that far. They can go back that far outward. You can get a full split and then some. As far as thigh rotation goes, you don't really get any, but due to transformation, you do have this little hinge here. So if you want to count that, you kind of sort of can. You do have a hinge here and a hinge here, so you can kind of have a double jointed knee if you want to count that. You do get a hinge down here at the knee, and the feet can move downward. So overall, other than the lack of ankle pivots and a waist swivel, I think they did do a good job giving this guy some pretty significant articulation. And if we bring in STARSCREAM's weapon, we can store it. You can see there's a post right there, and you can just plug it into any of these ports that you please. You can just plug it right there into that one if you want to. That's a place you can store it. You can also plug it into the back of his arm if you want. But if you really want him wielding his weapon, what you can do is you can just take his arm, fold it up, fold up, tab it in, and then the same way it did with the original version, you see these two slots and these two tabs. Just tab it right in there, and you can have STARSCREAM razor blading everyone's face off. And for a few quick comparisons here with STARSCREAM, first here he is with Studio Series 13 Megatron. Once again, so you can see how Megatron and STARSCREAM from Revenge of the Fallen scale together, and I think they do look pretty dang cool together right there. And lastly, figure-wise, here he is with Studio Series number 6, STARSCREAM, so you can see what all they changed. You can see lots more details painted out in the gold on this newer version. The face sculpt's done differently. And just overall, just for the most part, painting differences. Of course, they do include two different weapons, but overall, as I do a quick spin around, you can see it is mostly just painting differences. They are the exact same figure, sculpt and molding wise, just different painted details here on this new Revenge of the Fallen version. And last but not least, I'll slap up, a picture of STARSCREAM from Revenge of the Fallen right here, so you can see just how accurate they got this guy to his on-screen counterpart. And yeah, there you go with the comparisons, and overall I think this STARSCREAM is shaping up to be pretty awesome. And the last thing to talk about is the sadly now discontinued display base that comes in the box of these OG Studio Series figures. And you can see here it is the Forest Fight. He has 21 of Studio Series, and you see Revenge of the Fallen there, and you can plop him down in the forest and have him help Megatron kill Optimus Prime. So that is my review for the Transformers Studio Series 21 Voyager class STARSCREAM from Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. And overall, even though he is the same exact figure as the original Studio Series 06 version, I think this guy has turned out pretty awesome. The new details with the tattoos look pretty dang cool and do represent STARSCREAM from Revenge of the Fallen and Dark of the Moon pretty well. Now, I do hope in the future they re-release this guy or paint him up a little better. I'm not the biggest fan of the whitish plastic that they use throughout the whole figure. So if they could use like a darker gray plastic or even silver, if they have the budget to do a Dark of the Moon version, that would be pretty awesome in the future. Even though I don't see that happening, I doubt we get this mold anymore in the Studio Series line, but it would be pretty cool to get a Dark of the Moon version as well, since we got the 2007 and Revenge of the Fallen versions. But overall, it's a pretty dang cool figure. The jet mode looks really good. No nitpicks there personally. The transformation is fun, other than that one part where you have a little trouble untabbing those pieces. So if you're going to transform him back and forth, I say just don't tab the pieces all the way in. That way you don't have as much trouble transforming the figure back and forth. But the robot mode looks pretty cool. My only nitpick with the figure is that white plastic that they used throughout most of him. I wish they would have used a darker gray, or could have put more budget into the paint and did silver painting all around. But that would cause the figure to probably be a leader class price point. So as a Voyager, I think he is pretty cool. So that is my review for STARSCREAM. If I had to rate him, I'm going to give Screamer a 9 out of 10, the same rating I gave the original version. but I don't think he's worth that half point, closer to a 10, but I do still really enjoy this figure. So he's a 9 out of 10. That's my review for STARSCREAM. Don't forget to not sacrifice the things you love for the approval of others. I'll probably be doing Dropkick next, so you can listen to me rant about how terrible that figure is, just to give you a hint of how that review is going to go. But until then, roll out. Peace.